Hello.
Okay, there he is. There it is. There's our opening shot right there. Hi, good morning, everybody. Look at Julie on here. Julie must got Monday off. What I do for people who have Monday off. You should see what I do when they have Wednesday off. Right. It's not much different. Also,
you start with the other arm, though.
Also, I honestly think I got myself a crick in the neck. I gave myself a little crick.
Tell me
in the neck.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's Monday, and I don't know what it is, where you're watching from, what the weather's like. But here, it is stay inside and don't do anything. It's cold and rainy, and it's stay inside. Don't work. Don't work. Nothing productive is going to happen today. It's curl up and watch a movie day. Or so I thought. But it's not. It's put on a full face of makeup, Melissa, and make your hair look good, because today you are working.
What happened to the second part?
What?
Make your hair look good.
This is cute. By the way, did you see my Facebook post today?
I did not. Apologies.
You've got to look at it.
Is it about me?
No, Remi did it. Yeah, but that's because, she was looking at her Instagram last night, and I was telling her to do Insta stories, and you never do Insta stories, Remi. All you ever do on your Insta stories is like repost these stupid triplets that she loves. These Steramino triplets, these little boys, all you do is repost them. And I said, get on there and actually do something. And I said, you just think it's so difficult. It's not. And I pulled up her Insta story and I did something stupid, and she deleted it instantly. She goes, how would you like it if I pulled up your social media and I just put something on there that you didn't know about? And I said, okay, you can get me back. Well, she did, but she got me back cute.
She did.
Yeah. I had come in from church yesterday. I didn't get home until about 6 o'clock last night, and I came in, and when I walked in, she said, Mama, you look so cute. So that's what she did. She put up that picture that she took of me and Shep when I took Shep out to pee, and she put it up on social media, and it says, aren't my mama and Dr. Shepard so cute, or something like that. And then she signed it Remi. So she did get into my social media, but it was actually really cute. And you have to think how many people are going to be like, Melissa be putting stuff up and putting her child's name on there. But she actually did it. And she could have done something much worse. God knows she's got the pictures. The pictures to back it up. She has taken some really awful pictures of me. But I thought it was sweet.
So about those triplets, who are they exactly? Because that's the only reason I even know the name, actually I couldn't even tell you the name. I just know the triplets, is that she posts them. But I mean.
But they have 75 million followers on social media because they're three triplets, and apparently girls think they're cute and they're really funny. No, nothing else about them.
Because it looks like Remi finds the absolutely most unentertaining, boring things of theirs, and that's what she posts. Because
shows how old we are. She's like, we can't make McDonald's French fries. And David and I are like this. That's just our age.
Well, sometimes they're just like sitting places, and they're not even looking like they're like this. They're like, it's like, why would you post that picture? But even more, why would she share that picture?
Right. Well, speaking of age, if you are in David and I's age bracket, maybe even just a touch younger, then it just must have crushed you to hear about Matthew Perry this weekend. And I did not want to, I would be remiss if we did not mention that, because first of all, he was everybody's best friend, wasn't he? I mean, in that show. And
what show? What show was that?
Friends.
Oh, Friends. In case anybody didn't know.
I said Friends, and I wanted you to be like, yeah, no, we have him on, but what was the show? I was, but I'm hearing things Totally so sad about him. I'm heartbroken. That was so sad. I'm dead. It's so sad. I don't know why I feel it is important to tell y'all that Ross was my favorite friend. I just really need to make sure that y'all know Ross is my favorite friend. Out of the 6 of them, it's Ross, 100%. When Ross goes, I'm going to feel like y'all. But I think that the reason why we still feel so sad about Matthew Perry was because we know about his life. And we know about his life because he was brave enough to share about his life. And that book that just came out, not even a year before he's passed, and just told the horror of what his life was and how terrible. He just had these interpersonal demons, that goodness gracious, David, so many that are either in the spotlight or are funny will sometimes have. And it just breaks my heart.
Well, I think it's kind of twofold, especially on the funny side. Mm-hmm. A lot of times funny people are funny because they have practiced that so long as a defense mechanism, mm-hmm. and that's why they're funnier than other people. And those defense mechanisms are generally because of some kind of pain or trauma or something to that.
Trying to deflect.
But I think too, I think you can see that sometimes with actors. I think there's something else to be said when you live your life living other characters, other people, mm-hmm. that sometimes you don't really know who you are, and you spend time doing that. But then also just with success, it's so difficult. You see it so many times difficult when people hit this pinnacle, when they've hit this massive goal and this massive success. And then what?
Right.
And then what? I thought that was going to fill that hole. I thought that was going to make me feel accomplished or whatever. Or even if you feel great during that moment, when you come down, because everything has a cycle, mm-hmm. then you feel everything is a fail. Unless you really learn how to process that. But
a lot of people are in the chat right now saying that they did not know that Keith Morrison was his stepfather, and his mother ended up marrying Keith Morrison. Very interesting. How would you like to spend Christmas with Keith Morrison? This gift is from your mom and I, or is it? Anyway, what a great character. But you know what he said? He said, "I know I'm going to be remembered for friends. And that's okay. That's fine. But in reality, I wish that I would be remembered for friends second. And I wish that first I would be remembered for how I helped people cure a disease that sometimes I could not even cure for myself." Because he created a rehabilitation center for men. People always came up to him and needed his help in their rehab process, and here he was relapsing all the time. But he said, "I have helped so many people. I've seen them be successful even when I couldn't be." I hope that's what I'm remembered for first, and then that second.
Yeah.
So.
And I really hope with that. I know they haven't said anything officially yet. I really hope.
Oh, I hope. I know what you're going to say, and I hope.
That no substances or alcohol, that nothing had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That it was just it could have been a heart attack, a stroke.
But did you see where the LA County coroner has said that his results will be deferred?
Will be deferred.
I don't know what that meant, but he has done that. They've done the autopsy, and he won't come out and say anything just yet, and that's concerning to me. So they did say it was a cardiac arrest, but the question is, were there drugs in his system? I could live the rest of my life without knowing the answer to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to know. We will. Lord knows in this day and age, we will. I don't need to know. I'm just going to go with cardiac arrest. And
well, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want it to lessen the good that he has done.
Right.
Because like you said, because he was brave enough to share, he has helped a lot of people. And no matter how his end came to a life, that doesn't change, mm-hmm. And I surely hope it doesn't change the people that he's helped, like that doesn't affect them in some way. But Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on. Friday, after we were done here, I immediately, I don't typically do this on Fridays. Sometimes I will. I'll use Fridays as a chance to go check on my parents. I normally don't see them during the week. I'll text them, of course, but I go and check on them on Fridays. But now they've got a cleaning lady that comes on Friday morning, and so my mom don't like me to be there because I guess I just make a mess wherever I go.
Crazy.
So anyway, but I went on Friday. We finished up here, and I told David, I said, I want to go check on my parents. And then I took them some of that creamy chicken noodle soup. And I'm so glad I did because they were both really, really sick, and I did not know it. And they just both had what my mother calls the crud. They had the crud. So I walked in, and I'm gonna ask you something. I get to their house, no one's in the kitchen. The lights are off, no one's down the hall. I look in my dad's office, nobody's there. So I think to myself, either no one is home or they're just both back in their bedroom. And I walk, and when you walk in my parents' bedroom, they have a big, huge bedroom, big bed and everything. But then they have at the very end of their bedroom a big, nice fireplace and then 2 chairs that face the fireplace. So sometimes when you walk in, all you can see are their little heads, just because they're both tiny people. And you just see their little heads. And so I walked in and I saw my dad's head and I saw my mom, and she had a little ponytail, okay? And her head was turned towards my dad. Okay, I walk in quietly. I'm, contrary to popular belief, I do not walk into every room like this. Hello. So I walk in quietly, and this is what I walk in on. Jean, I was going to tell you that the other day I got real.
There'll be just a second as far as their comments. So, hello. Sorry, just a. Brand new, very nice computer just crashed for no reason. Well, I think I actually do know what the reason is, but
I'm giving them a second
anyway.
just for their comments to catch up, so we know that they're here.
We just want to make sure that we are back on, that you are seeing us, hearing us, and then we will.
Sorry, you guys. I saw it go blue, and everything just shut down, and who knows why? Who knows why?
Honey, this isn't frustrating. Not in the least. Okay.
All right, so we're ready?
All righty.
Okay. So contrary to popular belief, I do not walk into every room with like, hello, I'm here. So I was just walking quietly into the room, and I see my mom's little ponytail turn, and she looks at my dad and she says, Jean, I was gonna tell you, I was concerned the other day about Melissa, and what would you do? You hear your name, what would you do? Would you stop? They have no clue I'm there. The dog hasn't started barking yet. They have no idea. Would you stop and listen to what it was they were gonna say about you? Okay? Or would you say, hey, it's me, just stop talking, okay? What would you do? I'm asking you too. And I'm not asking you, no. I am not asking you to say what you think I would do.
If I was the one in the chair, I would hope that you would say, hey, speaking of Melissa, I'm right here, something, and probably most good people would do that. Probably, I don't know. I would absolutely stop and listen. I would be like, I'd be like mid-step and go.
Everybody, single person in the chat is saying stop and listen. Every single solitary person. But I'm going to tell y'all what, I didn't.
What?
And here's why. Because I wanted to check on them. I had missed them. I hadn't seen them all week long. And I knew that whatever was said was not going to be good. Because it was coming from my mother.
So it was going to go downhill.
So it was going to go downhill. And I had a choice that quickly. We have a choice that quickly, you guys. If I listen to it and it's rude, then my moment with them is gone. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be really pissed off. And then I know myself well enough to know, and I'm not gonna be able to not say anything. Then they're gonna know I stood there and listened. So then it's going to be a bigger deal.
Oh yeah. Well, if something was said and if it was bad, you would have done one of two things. If it was bad, you would have said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, blah, 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 and either got into an argument or whatever.
Right.
If it was really, really bad, you would have said nothing and walked out.
And then there would have been radio silence for days with my mom asking why. And when I finally told her, she would have said, oh, so you stood at our door and eavesdropped on us. And then it would have just been, so I made a mental health choice that quickly.
Look at you. Now, here's the other question. What if it was your daddy? If your daddy was saying something?
I would have stopped and listened.
You went like she went.
I would have stopped and listened because it would have been like this. And then I talked to Melissa the other day, and she's just as sweet as she has ever been.
Ain't she funny?
Okay. But here's what I did. I said, hey, ho, ho, ho. Stop talking because I'm here, and I don't want y'all to think I'm eavesdropping on anything. And that quickly, my mother went just like this. She went, well, now, isn't that weird? Isn't that just coincidental? I was just talking about you, Melissa. She's talking like this. She's talking like this. And my dad goes, well, this is exactly what my dad said. Well, baby, it wouldn't have been anything bad. I can assure you that. And I went just like this to him. I had my glasses on and I went, huh, huh. And he said, I wouldn't have allowed it.
I said, what now?
Yeah. So my mom said, I'll tell you what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that I felt I had to ask you the other day. Last Sunday at my birthday lunch, you were sitting down at the end of the table with Jeremy and Janet and Sage and Cade. Now, Sage and Cade, that's their daughter and her boyfriend. And I had to ask you, Melissa, if you said anything inappropriate. And you assured me that you didn't. And I was just going to tell your daddy that you had assured me you didn't. And I felt good about that.
Said anything inappropriate at the lunch?
At the lunch. Yeah. She asked me that the other day. She asked me that. So she was going to tell my dad that she had asked me that and I had really squelched her fears. Was it? She was going to say, you know, this is exactly what my mother was going to say. I'll ask Jesus when I get to heaven and he will look at me and wink because he'll know I'm right. She was going to say this, Jean, I had to ask Melissa, I was concerned the other day, and I had to ask her if she said anything inappropriate at the table with Jeremy and Janet, with Sage and Cade there. And it's sad to me that she's 50 and we're having to ask this, Jean. My dad would have said, well, then don't ask it.
She doesn't turn 50.
Then don't ask it. And she's not 50 yet. She don't like it when you say that. Then don't ask it. Because you know what? She's a grown woman. And she has friends everywhere we go. So that's what my dad would have said. But I stopped it and I thought y'all would be happy for me. My mom and dad really aren't feeling good. And they do have the crud. And I know this because of this story right here.
Did you see them yesterday?
I did.
And they're still in the cycle of crud.
You know, we had talked about aliens. So my mom's laying in her chair and she keeps falling asleep on her chair like this. Like after that whole, oh, Melissa, it wasn't going to be anything bad. I was just asking if you had been inappropriate and you assured me that you hadn't. She'd fall asleep. My dad and I would talk for a little while and then occasionally my mom would lift her head and say one thing and then she'd fall back asleep. We get into the story of the live that we had done here on the Radke Show on Friday, and I share with them about the apparent wackos that I entertain each morning that all believe in aliens. You bunch of psychotic, ne'er-do-well wackos. I think most that I've now throw you into that.
I think most people, and I may be wrong, I think most people were more in my category, that it wouldn't be so surprising. I don't know if we had a lot of surprising. I don't feel like we had a lot of people saying, you know, I have seen them and I have been probed. I don't feel a lot of people went down that path.
My dad and I are talking about it, and my dad says, well, Melissa, I think that there probably are because in Ezekiel, you know, he's kind of talking slow. He doesn't feel good. In Ezekiel talks about looking up in the sky and seeing a wheel, a huge wheel coming down from heaven on fire. Now, do you really think that was a wheel? And I said, so let me get this straight. Ezekiel, who at the time just walked everywhere in sandals. okay, is looking up to the sky where aliens have perfected the wheel already. In fact, they've made it so big it can float and it can catch on fire. And he's like, I'm just telling you what I think. He goes like this, I'm not going to speak for your mom. I don't know what she thinks. I kid you not. She went just like this. I'll tell you this. I started to believe in the existence of aliens 5 or 6 years ago. And I went like this. And my dad went just like this. He went, my God, what happened 5 or 6 years ago? I don't know anything that goes on around here. I think he is so funny.
Yes.
Jeremy did text me back, and he said, first of all, you're a dork. And then he wrote, but to answer your question, due to the vastness and the magnitude of God, I believe there is a possibility. That's all he said. So that was that.
But he might have said it's unlikely, didn't he? Didn't he say it's a possibility but unlikely?
But he said, but I think it's unlikely. But I wouldn't put anything past ye old big guy. You know what we're saying? Hold on, we got to do a camera cleanse. We got to do a camera cleanse. We got to do a camera cleanse. Okay, we're back.
Hey, I got a story to tell.
David and I got a free Friday. Somebody gave us a gift. You gonna tell them about it?
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna tell them?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought, did somebody give us something else? But yeah. We are, we are not the first in line for this by any means. But Friday, Melissa, Remi, and myself ventured out to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour extravaganza. The reason why Melissa originally did it is I have wanted to see it. I love music. I find it very interesting. Just even the production aspect, those kind of things. She's been looking, little to my knowledge, she's been looking when there was going to be a showing and the theater was empty.
No, I have a girlfriend that works at the theater, and I told her to be looking. She said she could get us in. And she let me know on Friday, hey, the 120 is completely open and I can get you in.
So we went. By the time we got there, there were five other people there, but it was very enjoyable. There were like 3 of them were on the front. Who would want to sit on the front row, and then some more were back here. But so it was okay for us to sing and our lungs. But I have to say, I would not by any means call myself a Swiftie. But that was an incredible concert. I mean, she for 2 hours and 45 minutes just went non-stop. I mean, I don't even know how many wardrobe changes and how many songs she. I mean, it was really
The reason that we wanted to bring it up this morning, because we know that our audience is not a lot of Swifties. Maybe your kids are, but maybe a lot of y'all are not, and so some of you definitely are. But the reason why we wanted to bring it up is because David and I are both creatives. Okay, I wanted to go see Taylor Swift as much for the creativity that I heard about that was happening on the stage with wardrobes and dances and props, and as I did her. And David too. Remi wanted to go for Taylor. So Rocco would have run himself over with a car if we'd made him go. So we went, and I don't know if you like Taylor Swift or not, but I'm going to tell you this. If you are a creative type at all, you make quilts for a living, you make jewelry. If you are a creative type at all, you are missing out. That will inspire you. It will 100% inspire you. What she did was incredible.
And I would say if you like music,
right,
too, because when you listen to all of her stuff together, there obviously, the first couple albums were country, and then it kind of went into pop, and then it was I don't know
a
what
different style, more adult pop.
It was more, yeah, a little bit more adult pop. And then she went into, there was a couple records during COVID where I think she might have had a High Fever. Those aren't my favorite. But
I ended up loving them.
But, I mean, she's done all these, I don't know if I'd say genres, but I mean, it was just
to
just
see how,
phenomenal.
if you were a music lover, to see how her music has changed with her. She's kept her music so true to who she is, and at the end of the credits, you'll see every single song that was performed and who wrote it, and it's either her by herself or her with two other people. I mean, she is very, and then she's playing the piano, and then they bring out a different piano, and then she's playing the guitar, and then she's doing an entire acoustic set by herself. I mean, this child, it's not a child anymore, but she is so talented. And David, who I bet you David could have named us 3 Taylor Swift songs before we got there, walked out and said, I think that has to be one of the greatest songwriters of our time. Melissa, that has to be one of the greatest of our time. That she's saying things in lyrics that we never would have picked up on, and it's really remarkable. So
well, and I think especially in pop music, if you enjoy, one of the reasons why I enjoy country music, I listen to every single thing, but one of the reasons I enjoy country music is the writing. The writing is superior. I mean, there's no question.
I know y'all are thinking that's crazy for country music, but we love country music.
So many pop songs, it's just, is there a good beat? What's the loop? Maybe where the breakdown is or something like that. It's like these little elements, but if you really step back and listen to the words, they are utter nonsense. They make no sense at all, or it's just so, I don't know, trite or whatever, but it's all about the music and the production and those kind of things. And it's great. I'm not saying it's not great, but as far as songwriting, man, it's just, it's unreal. And I'll say this, I mean, there are some people in pop, like Ryan Feder, he's on a whole different level. One Republic.
Maybe nobody knows who that is.
Not just One Republic, but he writes for a bunch of other people. But there are some out there, but just absolutely just phenomenal. And of course, I love the production stuff and the lights and all that kind
He
of.
loved it when the bicycles were on the stage. Everyone was riding around in a lit up bicycle, and as they rode, the tracks that they made were LED lights in the floor. It's that kind of thing.
And I got to find out if that was all pre-programmed and it was a dancer's responsibility to go where they went every night, or I got a feeling that'd be so hard.
Oh gosh!
If there wasn't like a lighting director that was tracing on something that did that.
Yeah.
Because that'd be so hard. And a couple of times, I forget what song it was, but Taylor would be on the edge and she'd stomp, and it would look like it was cracking the stage. It was just, I mean,
So
it's just
where
really,
do you know
really
exactly where to put your foot?
Right, that's why I'd be a little bit, I mean, she could have been marked, like there could be tape and she knows, okay, but the bikes, I don't see how they would do that night after night after night.
Very nice. She knew what she was there to do, and she ran in her lane. I don't, oh my gosh, do not get me at a concert and then you're going to tell me your political beliefs or, let's talk about the economy. I'm like, I want to hear you sing. Okay. She knew what she was there to do. Yesterday, I sang 3 worship services. Each worship service had 3 songs, and I led the last song. It was a big song. So I sang 9 songs yesterday. Okay. And y'all would have thought I was exhausted. Like, y'all would have thought I needed an IV. Okay, I would walk backstage and all the other worship singers would be putting their stuff up and I'd be like, oh, I'm so hot. She sang 44 songs. She sang 44. She didn't lip sync them because she could never get away with that. People would troll her till the day she died. She sang 44 songs. That is, as a vocalist, I'm going to tell you right now, that is, honestly, as a vocalist, that's doing an Ironman every single solitary night on stage. It's just unreal. Whether you like her or not, it's unreal, and you should go see it.
I would take it to a different level. I'm not, obviously, Ironman, those events are incredible. But when you talk about golf, you talk about Tiger. When you talk about basketball, you talk about Michael Jordan. She's like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just a different level.
She never missed a step. She never missed a move with dancers. She never tripped. She never fell. Nothing. Somebody said she loves cats. She has one named Meredith Gray, and they said, I don't remember the other one. The other one is named Olivia Benson.
So anyway, it was very, I mean, if you can't tell, we really, really enjoyed it. The staging wasn't too much, like when they would add elements to the stage, there were some very cool elements too. And I loved that she had her band involved.
Boy, did she.
Because of the music, it wasn't the whole time. It wasn't like you've gone and seen, a Coldplay or Maroon 5 where they're out there the whole time. It's not that, but there's so many that do similar stuff that she does. And then you'll see videos online where they're under the stage the whole time. They're there, they're playing live, they're amazing. But I love that she included them.
And pay attention, if you do get to see it, pay attention to that there are two groups of dancers. Not one, there are two. Because one group, I read this, one group of dancers could not do that for 44 songs. They couldn't handle it. So she had to have two groups. Okay, so they can't do it.
The dancers can't, but she can. The last thing I would say, I said this to Melissa. It wasn't in the cards for us because I think I looked at some point and like the tickets were $800 or something, and I know people paid exorbitant amounts, and I also know some people even you guys got lucky and found them for relatively good prices. But if we had the money, that would be a big if. But it would have been worth that if you had the discretionary funds. I'll say that, because that's an experience that you would remember. If you were there live, that you'd remember forever. So, things break. Things, you get bored with them, but that's an experience that you'll take forever. And I was actually talking with a friend of mine yesterday. Said there are several people that are planning 4 or 5 day trips, like to Australia.
Really?
And because of the value of the dollar, they're actually getting pretty good prices on the tickets. And it's not that, it's expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's not that much more than if you'd have driven to Dallas, then get to fly to Australia, spend a couple of days, go see the show.
Golly,
so
could you imagine?
That was kind of interesting too. So
could you imagine?
Anyway, so we made something up on that.
Let you go. Is that Remi, and you several of you asked, did Remi hey, sort of. David told Remi from the very beginning, hey, it's Saturday night, whatever you want to do. But Remi got a call to babysit, and she really wanted the money. The great thing was the babysitting gig did not start until 8 o'clock. So Remi was like, I can still have a date and be done by 8 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, David said, or 5:30, David said, what would you like to do tonight for our date? And here's what she said. Can I honestly tell you what I want to do? He said, absolutely. She said, I want to order. So Remi and David had a date that a married couple of, let's say, 37 years would go on. Okay? This is what our daughter chose. She said, Daddy, I want Mama to not be here. I want her to stay back in her room. I don't want to see her. David's like, done. And I was like, Rocco wasn't even home. She said, I want to order a bunch of Chinese food, and I want to sit it in front of us on the coffee table in the living room, and me and you curl up on the couch together and watch Five Nights at Freddy's on Peacock. David's like, let me get this straight. Chinese is my favorite, and I don't have to pay for that stupid movie. Yes. And so that's what they did. And that he said that they had a blast, that she laughed during the movie, and she loved it, and she was scared, and she would jump, and she would say, oh, Daddy, can you heat up my egg roll? Yeah, I'll go heat up your egg roll. So they sat in there like a married couple of 40 years.
We had a wonderful time.
I needed a little refill on my tea, God forbid. And I walked in like this in through the living room, and I heard this, no, you're not supposed to be in here.
And I think Remi said something to you too, didn't she?
What's Remi? But they had a great time, and that's what she wanted to do. She's like, so I got to eat Chinese food, watch a movie, spend time just by myself with my dad, and I got $65 for babysitting. So she was very happy.
Perfect. I figured she'd want to still go to eat or go to the movie. I didn't know if we could do it all. Or I even told her, well, let's try to do it on Sunday night. But nope,
even on the way to Taylor Swift, when we're driving to the mall to go see it, we passed by Red Lobster, and she went, ooh, Red Lobster for the seafood lover in me. And David was like, I guess that's where I'm going to go tomorrow night. But the babysitting gig changed it all. Rocco was gone. He was at Taylor's pole vaulting concert.
Not Taylor Swift's, but his
girlfriend, pole vaulting. And thrilled about that, I could not be. I needed him out of the house. I feel like the longer his hair grows, so does his ego. And then I stayed in my room and watched a Netflix movie. So it was a really great night. But that's about it. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend as well. Why do y'all keep showing up for a show where we just talk about ourselves?
Well, we love it.
Okay.
Hey, let me tell you a couple of things. Remember, every Wednesday, we do We're Here For You Wednesday. So email your questions. There's a link in the description. Email your questions to Melissa at melissaradke.com. It doesn't matter if they're funny, if they're serious, if they're, something about us, whatever it is, we want to answer your questions on Wednesdays. Thursday is Thursday Things. So if you have something you're loving, you can't live without, think would be a great holiday present maybe, email that in, let us know. And then Friday is Pop Culture, where we want to know about your books, your movies, your television shows, podcasts, all that kind of good stuff. So get down in the description there, click on that, email us, let us know. Continue to show up every day. We love you guys so much. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for continuing to sharing and growing this little show of ours. But the best part of the day.
Well, I wouldn't go crazy. It's the golden moment. I wouldn't say best part of the day. Best part of the day would be breakfast tacos.
A moderate part.
Here's a moderate chink in your armor. Okay, bye.
See you.
Hi, and welcome to the golden moment. We're finishing up today on just, well, to be honest, people we don't want to be around. Like, the holidays are quickly coming, and there are just some people we don't want to be around, and one of them is people that try to control you. It seems simple, I know, but sometimes it can happen in the most smallest and most manipulative of ways. Watch out for that. Be aware of that. Those are called itty bitty tiny red flags. And if they try to control you, run. Run the other way. Nobody needs that in their life. And I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.